What's up, y'all? You're watching the Young and Happy podcast, and I'm your host, Raw Dill. Today with us, we have a very special guest. She's an actress, writer, producer, creator, and a rapper born in Toronto, Canada. Between Instagram and TikTok, she has amassed 250,000 followers, and our guest today, she's quirky, she's unpredictable, she's Mandy Mayhem.
Woohoo!
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm thrilled. What a beautiful space.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So you were here, you did a live session for your song Invincible, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Invisible.
Invisible.
But that's
yes.
a great word. I should change it.
Invincible?
Hey, fuck on me, I'll change your whole life, man. Those condoms expiring on your nightstand. No use, the way a rocket so smooth, so deep. Hitting on this dope, the boys OD. OG. My heat is unlimited, I've been venomous since you was just an infant. It's literal, I've been killing them when they inside my middle. Listen, but so pay attention, this isn't, I ain't invisible. Enter my chambers on that Wu-Tang shit. METHOD kicks Luke came with. Tenderness of angels, these anchorless, picture perfect, ridiculous. At my worship, I'm certain to rearrange your damn. Guess it's time to back off, cause get your soft ass with that smack talk. All I'm looking for today is something minimal, a second of some love and attention. I ain't invisible. I INVISIBLE, bitch. Pay attention when I mention, know you see this. Give me some love and I know you need this. Pussy is the power, so notice me when I speak, dick. I'm not invisible. I'm not invisible. I'm not invisible. This moment's critical. Code red, the time is now to crawl up in my bed. As I transition from sex symbol to wrinkle single, my tingles dwindle as my mind becomes so sensible, dull. But past experience, I'll look and know how long you last. Come quick, before my time has passed. I could care less if you pass me, cause I pass gas and the cat is waiting for me by the TV. You should act fast, thrilled to instill skills to outlast Class 1, versus a smash and dash and the reach around. If you notice me now, I'll make you a master, a cunnilingual pastor. I'll pass you a harem of ladies and waiting for him on a classic subliminal tactics, make you invincible. It's not that difficult, show me I ain't invisible. INVISIBLE, bitch. Pay attention when I mention, know you see this. Give me some love and I know you need this. Pussy is the power, so notice me when I speak, dick. I'm not invisible. Hey. Insatiable when I spit in silence. I come at the fire starter, your child. Don't be alone when I saunter in undergarments. Crazy is the best lay, boy. Crazy is the best lay. Text me something sexy before I hit the lights off. Might talk dirty, but I'll hurt you if it goes soft. Yeah, guess I should be honest. My pussy's the fucking bomb. Mr. Drop 'em crazy, a common. I'm Erica to be fair to ya. Boy, I hop up on this. Lot of boys losing when lost inside of my juices. The truth is I fucking toss 'em. Never seen his hollows, but baby, I'm sweet and shady when he's talking about his daughter. So maybe we can make a desperate housewife video. Have me in the shower after leaving kids at middle school. Yeah, take a dip inside my swimming pool. Give me some attention this instant, I ain't invisible. INVISIBLE, bitch. Pay attention when I mention, know you see this. Give me some love and I know you need this. Pussy is the power, so notice me when I speak, dick. I'm not invisible. I'm not invisible. I'm not invisible.
Yeah. So this actually worked out great. You're here in Philly because you're doing a show tonight at Kung Fu Necktie.
Yes.
7 p.m., right?
7 p.m.
Yeah. How did that come about?
Well, I was dating someone who was coming out here for the picnic, and so we were going to come out together, and there's this promoter who reached out to me months ago when I first kind of started going viral and said, do you want to do a show out in Philly? And I was like, I absolutely do. Philly is one of my top markets on both Instagram and TikTok, one of my top 5.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'll do it. And I was planning on doing it, I think, in April. And then just because I kept going viral and I was like so busy with going live all the time and posting and getting used to this whole new schedule of being online so much, I didn't feel like I was ready for the show. I didn't have time to rehearse. I didn't have a DJ. Also financing, because it almost costs more to put on the first few shows than you make. Or it definitely does. Right. Especially flying out. So when he was going to come out here, to go to the picnic, I thought that's perfect. I'll go to the picnic. That would be amazing. Because Lauryn Hill is headlining and she's in my top 5.
Yeah, that's
I know you're
awesome.
going to ask me that eventually. So I thought I'll come and do it. And then we broke up.
Okay.
And then the Philly show is still happening. So,
Yeah.
and I'm still planning to go to the picnic.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Lauryn Hill's going to be there.
I mean, yeah.
You got to go.
Usher, Busta Rhymes,
Really?
Lil Uzi. There's like this whole reunion of Rock Nation. So
That's
it's going to be
sick.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Where is the picnic at?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an undisclosed location?
Yeah.
Okay.
That everyone knows but me.
Top secret.
Yeah.
Only to Mandy Mayhem.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you actually have a lot going on, and your career is pretty impressive. I want you to walk me through your career, honestly, from the beginning to where you're at right now. I know it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, let's start at age 35.
Okay.
So I'm 47 now.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
47. I started acting at 35. So
Okay.
prior to that, I ran a cheerleading company. I taught very high level competitive cheerleading all over the world,
Nice.
China, throughout Europe, the UK, and North America. And I manufactured uniforms and clothing in cheerleading and sold them everywhere. So that all kind of exploded in around 2008. And I worked as an art dealer for a little while. And then I decided that I wanted to, well, it wasn't just a decision. My life blew up and fell apart. And then I moved into the world of acting through a series of fortunate events. I discovered this book called The Artist's Way, which was a huge turning point for me, but by
The
Julia
Artist's Way.
Cameron. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, Julia Cameron, the author. I mean, this isn't the most important thing she's done, but at the time when she wrote it and developed the program, she was dating Martin Scorsese and hanging out with him and his director crew, and a lot of creatives, and she was a screenwriter. So she wrote this. It's basically a 12-step program for artists who are blocked. And I was blocked in a sense. Like, I wasn't listening to the main sort of creative impulse that I have, which has always been around music. But I kept thinking I wasn't good enough. I couldn't sing well enough. I couldn't rap well enough. Why would a white lady like me, who's just so white, be rapping? And it just the older I got, the more ridiculous it seemed for me to have a rap career.
So you're having a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 35, I started acting. I went to Second City. I started there in Toronto and studied improv and comedy. And then I went to New York pretty shortly after, a couple years after, and studied method acting in New York at Strasberg, and also went to UCB and studied comedy there. And then shortly after that, ended up going to LA. But funnily enough, the reason, they say don't go to LA unless LA calls for you.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I went is because I met Fat Lip from the rap group The Far Side at a hip hop karaoke event in Toronto.
Okay.
And he told his record label about me, and they brought me out to do a show with The Far Side. I opened for them. It was the 25th anniversary of their album, or maybe 20th. I'm not sure, because they're at 30th anniversary now. So I opened for them, and it was such a shit show. Like, basically, people, when they see me perform, are either like, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen, or that needs to stop immediately. So it was like that at the Roxy too. Like, people were like, what is going on? Or this is amazing. And I am very comfortable in front of a crowd. I know I can win them over from years and years of cheerleading games and, whatever. I have that, like, this crowd control skill set. So I wasn't worried about it, but there were members of the band who weren't happy with me being there. So I realized in that moment how powerful it was that, not that I'm divisive, but that people are affected by what I'm doing in a very big way. And that's usually a lane that can create some really great art. And so I wrote a show called Mother, inspired by that experience, about a housewife who fantasizes about being a rapper when she rages. Mm-hmm. And that we made with True TV. And it's now on HBO Max, and it's part of or I guess it's now called Max. It's part of another show called Rachel Dratch's Late Night Snack, which is a anthology comedy series.
Okay.
So in that show, Rachel Dratch has like episodes. Sarah Silverman, Impractical Jokers came out of that show.
Oh, nice.
There was a lot of different sketches, and it was like SNL but pre-taped and
Okay.
a variety show.
Yeah.
So they gave me the opportunity to make my show. I did it with Absolutely Productions, which is the company owned by Tim and Eric, Tim Heidecker and Eric Wareheim, who also did Nathan For You and Comedy Bang Bang, Eric Andre show. So very alt comedy folks. Yeah. So I'm really grateful to all those guys for helping me, get that show made. And then after that, I did another show called Rapping with Actors, which is a talk show where I interview actors about hip hop and their relationship to music. And it's a comedy show too, where we would play dumb games like rapping with crackers, which is like white people rapping with crackers in their mouths. Just stupid shit. And just talking about music and our love of the art forms, both art forms, top 5 rappers, top 5 actors, all that kind of stuff. So that was really fun.
Love that.
Yeah, I did that with a network in Canada. So that's like pre, I don't know. I don't like calling myself an influencer. I feel like I'm an artist who, happens to be online. But yeah.
You've built yourself a presence online, but I would say you're doing better things than an influencer. Not there's anything wrong with being an influencer, but I just think you're doing bigger things than what an influencer does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to make art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing that for sure.
Thank you.
I actually watched an episode of Mother last night.
Oh, cool.
It was very interesting.
Yeah. Which one was it?
I don't know. It was 16 minutes long. I know.
Oh, that's the whole thing.
It's
you
the
watched
whole thing?
the whole thing.
Oh,
yeah.
then yeah. That was you gotta check that out, Mother.
Yeah.
And you said it's on HBO Max now?
It's on HBO Max. Good luck finding it because it's in Rachel Dratch's Late Night Snack.
Okay.
There's like 33 episodes of that show, and then mine is like scattered throughout it. So it's better to just go to the link in my bio and click Mother and watch it that way.
Yeah. No, that was really cool how it like transitioned in between scenes into you rapping and being a mother.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Are you actually a mom?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
Just one.
Just one?
Yeah, he's
Nice.
30.
Okay.
Yeah, I had him when I was 17.
Wow.
Part of the reason why I'm living my life out of order,
Yeah.
traditionally out of order. I don't think that's necessarily true, that that's even a thing, but it has definitely contributed to this sense of urgency that I have around making sure that my dreams are fulfilled. Like I was told that I'd ruined my life when I had my son. And I have been determined not to make that true.
Yeah.
And so never given up on any of my dreams because of it. However, I did give up on music. I did actually have a moment where I was like, I think we're going to have to let this go.
Okay. How long ago was that?
In the past year.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it was like, acting is a full-time job. It's trying to get TV shows and films made. It's so much work. And like, I believe in worshiping on the altar of the thing, whatever the art form is. So acting, music, writing, showing up to the altar to make your offering, work on a monologue, write a couple pages of something, do a cover. I've always done that. And I think that's part of the reason why with this music thing, it just exploded out of basically nowhere. I had no idea this was going to happen.
Yeah.
But because I have been worshiping on the altar of the art form for so long and just doing covers and like playing around and making songs in my house, I have a body of work that I've created over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's...
Well, I think that's a beautiful thing that you didn't give up. And because you have a kid, and I think I have a daughter, and she's almost 2.
Cool.
And I think it's so important for parents to show your children that you're more than a parent, and it's important to chase your dreams still, even though you're a parent. I know a lot of people become parents and they kind of give up on their own dreams and things they want to do in life because they're focused on the kid, which obviously is important too. But you still need to show them that no matter what, you have to follow your dreams. And I think you're doing that.
Yeah, thank you. You know what's so interesting about the way that we position the idea of sharing or of following your dreams is like, there's a lot of baggage that develops over time around that. Like, what does it mean to follow your dreams? Does it mean to achieve things, or does it mean to show up and worship on the thing? Like, I really made a major shift around that for myself. And oftentimes people ask me, you know, what's next? What are you trying to do with this rap thing? And that's not what got me here, thinking that way.
Right.
What got me here was I am going to do what brings me joy to the utmost and fullest expression of that thing, and people are responding to it. And then I continue to live as in the moment as I can, especially when I'm creating, especially when I'm going live, so that what I'm doing is in artistic alignment with my joy and purpose. As soon as I start to think about strategy, about being successful, creating, you know, the right career, making the right moves, I get very sad. Because I've spent so much time trying to figure out what the world wants from me. And it doesn't know what it wants from me. Like, look, read the comments.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I love your top. I hate your top. I did this whole get ready with me last week, and I was trying to find an outfit for the show, and like trashed my house. There were shoes and clothes everywhere. We did polls, and everything was like 50% want you in black shoes, 50% want you in red shoes. Like, it was like, nobody can decide.
It wasn't very definitive.
Not at all. Yeah. So it's like the only answer is what brings you joy. It's the only answer. And somehow through a series of, through a lot of work, a lot of self-reflection and work, and a lot of work on these multiple crafts, these multiple disciplines that I work in, they all find themselves, they all find each other in what I'm doing right now. My performance skills, being a cheerleader for so many years, the crowd control aspects of that, writing. I studied literature. I've read a lot of poetry. I've written a lot of poetry, and I love music and have studied music and worked on my voice for years. Yeah. My whole life. And they're all finding each other now. And everyone's like, where did you come from? You know, I just discovered you. No, you didn't. I was here. I've been here.
You've been here.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's cool that you said this brings you joy. And our tagline for Young and Happy People is what makes you happy keeps you young. And earlier you were live for the live session on TikTok, and I was reading the comments, and someone said, you look old and young at the same time. How? And I think that's truly because you're doing what you love. Like, there's clearly joy in that. And I see that's just from my personal perspective. But
yeah. How did you come up with that idea that doing what you love keeps you feeling young? What made you?
What makes you happy keeps you young. It honestly, I think so. Matt is the one that came up with Young and Happy People with a couple of his close friends. And I think the tagline just came one day. We were trying to come up with something to say with it, and someone mentioned it, and we were like, yeah, that's fire. We're going to keep that. And I don't remember who it was. I don't know if Matt remembers, but Cody, what makes you happy keeps you young. Yeah. So I don't know.
What makes you happy?
What makes me happy?
Yeah.
My daughter makes me very happy. I'm a photographer.
Oh, cool.
And I've done all kinds of photography, but my joy in life is traveling and taking landscape photography. And that's like my niche. I'm very good at it. And I think that brings me joy. Just being in a new place. Like, it doesn't have to be an exotic location. I can just go somewhere I've never been. It could be Vermont. I don't know if I've ever been to Vermont, but if I'm there and it's a new place, I'm gonna take pictures and I'm gonna be happy.
Vermont's beautiful.
Yeah.
You should go. That's so interesting you say that. Like, so when I was cheerleading, I traveled a lot coaching teams all over Europe. And I did the same. I used to take a lot of photos. And it's like one of my passions for sure. And one that I've been very careful to not ever try to turn into a business, because I always am trying to figure out how to marry art and business. But that one has been kind of private for me. I'm on Visco.
Okay.
You know, VSCO, that app. So that's where I hide my,
Okay.
now everybody knows, but that's where I hide my pictures. You can see my nipples if you really want to. Sometimes I do art, you know, photos of myself. But I remember one time, I want to say in my early 30s, when I was in Toronto and feeling anxious, or like I was getting very heavy into my business, and it had gone from being something fun into being a lot of work, the cheerleading company. And I remember saying, I'm going to go out and take pictures in Toronto like I'm a tourist. And I did. And you know, when you're looking through the lens, you see the world in such a different way. There's Absolutely. A calmness, there's a presence, there's an openness. That's what I'm talking about with connecting with my creative impulses and doing what brings me joy. It's the same feeling as when you're like, I want to take a picture of this in a way that it's telling me what to photograph, as opposed to, let me just get this picture of my friends. And I think that experience helped me to, recognize what it means to be in flow. The presence required to be in flow. And by in flow, I mean connected to the divine and creating based on the impulses that you're receiving.
Yeah.
So photography is just this powerful art form that we all have at our fingertips right now, that can help us drop into a space of presence, that can get us out of the mind chatter, the self deprecation, the imposter syndrome, all of that stuff.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. I've been shooting for almost 10 years now. So it's been a long time. My camera broke a month ago, and I haven't gotten a new one yet. So I've been like a little anxious just to get out and take some photos, but I will soon.
Do it. Yeah. Give yourself that joy.
Yeah. Last year I bought a drone, and that was really cool for my like artistic and creativeness, because I've always wanted to get like the aerial views of stuff that I'm shooting, and that opened me up to a whole new thing.
I love that.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So you have been sober for 5 years, correct? What brought you to that?
Depression. Yeah. I mean, both my parents are sober. So my mom quit drinking when I was in my early 20s, and my dad quit when I was 15. And they both are very generous with sharing their experiences. It's kind of like I get that from them. Just everything I learn, I want to share with people. So when my dad went through the program, he taught me everything he was learning as he was going through. And then when my mom went through, same thing. And they both had very different approaches to their sobriety. And, you know, I still drank until, I guess, 5 years ago. But I would go on and off drinking. And I never could really like become the drunk that I wanted to become, because I like knew too much, because they had shared it with me. So it wasn't because I was running around tearing up my life. I'm not that kind of an addict. I'm a control freak addict. So I would just move from addiction to addiction, work, love, alcohol, whatever it was. But alcohol, I was always very careful. Food is another one that I have issues with. So I was very careful with alcohol because of what I saw with them. And I thought, well, if I'm not drinking like they drink, then I'm not an alcoholic.
Yeah.
But it's a progressive disease. So over time, it just continues to get worse, whether you're drinking or not. So even if I would go a year or 6 months without drinking, as soon as I did again, it would be like immediate depression. So I was having intrusive thoughts, like suicidal thoughts that didn't make any sense based on the amount of spiritual work I was doing and how I felt about being alive. It's like, why am I thinking this? Oh, I had a glass of wine last night. Now today I'm a disaster. I'm all in this like drama headspace. And I realized that it was the alcohol, that it was flipping a switch in my brain and putting me into this
Dark
misery.
Space, yeah.
So I cut the alcohol out, and then I realized it's not just the alcohol, it was also the sugar. Because I had a pop from like McDonald's or something, a Coke, and I had the same thing happen. Why am I having suicidal thoughts after having a Coca Cola? Something in my brain chemistry and this sugar isn't no comprende. No, that's not no capiche. I don't know, but it's not cool. Okay. So I just had to stop. And because I got to a point where I was like, I don't have the energy to recover. It's not fun enough. I spent a lot of time in university not drinking also because I was an athlete. My son was young. I never wanted him to grow up around alcohol. He actually asked me when he was 17 if I'd ever had a drink. Or no, if I'd ever been drunk, because he'd just never seen me like that.
Yeah.
Because I very much compartmentalized,
Yeah.
when I was momming. And then because I was still in high school when I had him.
Yeah.
So when I was in school, and then through university, same thing. When I was cheerleading, like I wore these different hats and very distinctively wore these different hats for survival, because I couldn't be a cheerleader and worrying about where my kid was. It's like, I got to make sure he's cool and safe, and then I can go do this thing, or study without distractions. So that's been a big part of, I think, my success. Actually, I created this program called the Time Trampoline for artists who have, multiple hats they have to wear, because we have to be an entrepreneur, you have to do marketing, you have to deal with money. And I find that all these things interfere, and that the stress that we have in trying to be an artist comes from wearing multiple hats at once.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a dad, but I'm also trying to write a song. And I cannot do both of those things at the same time. It's like different parts of my brain.
Yeah.
So the Time Trampoline helps you build creative, like, temples around your creative time so that nothing else can penetrate. And then also around other things. So like when I sit down to write and I'm thinking, I don't have any money to pay my bills, because money gets in the way a lot of artists. You're like, no, Friday mornings from 9 till 12 is when I deal with all my financial stuff. And by setting up this sort of structure, you develop a trusting relationship with yourself where your artist knows that when it's art making time, that it really is. It's like with a kid, the kid needs to know now it's nap time. And you can't be like, it's nap time, and then be like, I don't want a nap. And you're like, okay.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. There's no negotiating. It's like, this is what we're doing. It's so that the artist feels safe to come out and play. It's now time for you to read. Oh, cool. Can I read all the books at once? Yes, you can. Like, indulge those impulses within this beautiful container you've created. So I had to do that for myself to survive as a young mother. And now it's enabled me to be able to work in all of these disciplines at once, because when I show up to one, the other ones aren't competing with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you think where you're at now, have you built a team so that you have less on your plate and you can focus more on the artistry?
No.
No?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I know who the people are. I have worked with lots of great people in the past who are like going to be part of my team, but the financial resources to support that team aren't here yet.
I got you. Yeah. All right.
But that is coming. And, the company that I ran, the cheerleading company, I had a full staff. I had 50 employees. And so I'm ready for I'm ready for all that when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I only started this in November. Rapping.
Wow. Yeah. She blew up fast.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, you've been here.
But
they're just realizing.
Yeah. So it's been, I guess, almost 6 months.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly. You were on TikTok live earlier, and within 5 minutes I looked at it and you were already up to 1,000 people watching. I was like, that's impressive. And that was quick.
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
I don't even have enough followers to go live on TikTok. So.
Yeah. I didn't when I started either. Yeah. I only had 200. And there was this agency that I had auditioned for a year prior for another platform. I can't remember the name of that one, but I was not PC enough for it. And they were like, go try Bigo. And so I tried Bigo and I was like, this is awful. I'm never doing this again. And then they kind of left me alone. And then a year later, they reached out and said, hey, we're working with TikTok now. They won't pay you to go live, but you get like gifts and they'll support you. And we have a rep there so you can like learn how to do it and whatever. But we really think that your rapping would do well on here. And I was like, no. I'm not building another platform. I'm not being exploited by another social media platform who's going to take my audience away from me. I build it and then, they change their algorithm and then, whatever. I'm not doing it. And I'm too busy being exploited by the film and TV industry right now.
Yeah.
But then November 1st, I remember just being very frustrated with film and TV. I got an audition for a retirement home commercial. And I am not of retirement home age. My agent messaged me. She's like, listen, it's like a cool retirement home. Like they take people as young as 50. No. But like I keep getting called out for roles for women in their 60s. Like there's a commercial playing right now, a sleep apnea commercial that I did. And both my husbands are in their mid 60s. I'm 47. Like not, no shade to anyone who has that kind of relationship. But like, why is that the norm?
Yeah.
And I just was like, this is it. This is what's happening to me. I'm going to be grandma. And it's not why I trained for 10 years.
Yeah, no.
It's very sad. And also I have all these shows that I have written that I've been trying to get off the ground. I have a show I wrote about the cheerleading world, a film about an influencer who's live streaming her funeral.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I have a lot of stuff. A lot of projects, but I couldn't get any of them financed, and I've tried.
Yeah.
And I have been successful getting the other two financed. So it's not because the work's not good.
Yeah.
So that morning I just said a prayer and I was like, God, just show me a clear path to I didn't even say to what, just me. Right. And then later on in the day, I heard this, message back, which was like, you want a clear path? It's right in front of you. TikTok is offering this. People are trying to build things on TikTok and you're getting support. Like, just try it. So I went live that night and there was 20,000 people. And
wow.
The agency had these like certain amounts of time that you needed to go live. And so I just kept going. And after I said, I'll give it 3 months. And after the first month, almost to the day that, I forget what the meme account is, but somebody screen recorded me doing that Jay-Z track. And when I did it, there was like 7,000 people watching in that moment.
Wow.
And
do you think that was the first video that like blew up?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think it's had like 20 million views because it was just copied and shared everywhere. Like, World Star Hip Hop, Power 106, like it was everywhere, and all these crazy meme accounts, but it wasn't I wasn't tagged.
Oh yeah, they be doing that.
Yeah. So it was just like grandma's rapping, ha ha ha, whatever. And because of that, I became a non-human, and so the comments were really, really intense. And it was a lot, but I kept going. Kept writing the next cipher. Best believe somebody's paying the Pied Piper. And because I had said I was going to do it for 3 months. And then I went after the next month, Chris Brown shared my Emily freestyle. And then the third month I released that video, the big mama, tree trunk freestyle. And
it's funny because that was when Matt told me that you were going to be on here, I was doing my research, and that was the first video I clicked on. And the opening line. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. This is what we're doing.
Yeah. That's what we're doing. That's what we did. It's funny, that video, because I was in the flow of just like, you have to release a video every day on both platforms. And I was getting ready for my live on TikTok, and I didn't have anything to post on Instagram. I think I had just done like, hey guys, come watch me live on TikTok. And then Instagram, I was like, here's a new verse I'm working on. I hadn't learned the verse fully yet. I was still working on it. And so I was reading the verse from my iPad. And so I can't even bear to look at it. Like, it's just like this thing I just threw out there. And that's the thing somebody told me at the beginning. It's like, my friend Mario actually said, don't judge your own content. It's very important that you just put it out. You don't know what's going to go. Yeah. Now, this last one that just hit 1 million that I put out last week, the Just Blaze, Rock the Mic freestyle. That one I knew. I was more particular. Okay. I wrote the verse, and then I worked the verse so that the strongest bar was right in the first couple seconds. And that's the thing with the Big Papa one. It's like, that's the funniest bar.
Right out the gate, it gets
so
you.
Everyone's like, what? And the rest of it's cool. But then I was like, okay, let me try. Yeah. Let me actually put some effort into this one. And so I feel like that's my most clever verse that I've written, the last one.
It's good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. What would you say your most influential era of music is?
Actually, it's 2000s neo soul.
Really? That surprises. We talked about that before you got here, and we all said something different. So that's
what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you think it would be?
Like 80s hip hop, 80s 90s hip hop. But I can see that. Yeah. 2000s.
Like, I loved 80s 90s hip hop, but the music that I listen to and have continuously listened to most is like Jill Scott, Music Soul Child, Dwelle. That's my shit. And Soulful House.
All right.
Soulful House from I would say probably from around that time too, maybe a little earlier. Yeah. Okay. But obviously hip hop is a huge part of me. I don't even think about it because I listen to it. So just there. But when I had my son, I took a bit of a break from it. I went more into the like R&B soul world because I had him in 92 and it was just getting. Was that when you were born? Yeah, same. It's same. No, not same. What am I talking about? That's when I had my son. Take it easy. So I needed a break because hip hop was getting very aggressive and I was not in that place and I didn't want it to be around him. Although my brother, who's 2 years older than my son, they grew up together. I took them both to see the NWA movie. And when we were driving home, my brother was like, I remember the first hip hop song I heard. It was in your car.
What was it?
Use a hoe, ho, use a hoe. I said that use a hoe. Ludicrous. And I was like, oh my God, what have I done? So I
put him on to some good music.
I put him on to some good music. And I'm thinking about like, You Don't Know and Public Service Announcement are two of my favorite Jay-Z tracks that I do all the time in my lives. And I remember when I got the album with Public Service, was it the Black Album? Public Service Announcement?
I'm not sure.
And no, was it the Black Album? No, couldn't have been. Anyway, that's going to bug me now. Blueprint 3. Anyway, well, someone will tell us, I'm sure.
Yeah, Joel, can you look that up? Black Album?
Oh, shit. Okay.
Okay, Joel.
So I remember when I got it, when that song, and I was just like stomping around the living room learning that song. Like
Yeah.
I just loved it so much, and my son was there. You know, I would just think about like, what did that little brain think of his mother, like stomping around? You know, so people always ask me like, what does your son think of what you're doing? I'm like, he's been watching me do it his whole life. There's nothing weird about this to him. The only weird thing he's ever said to me was in Mother. There's an episode where she's rapping. It's like a diss track toward her son, and he's like, it's freaking me out that the kid that you had play your son looks like me. I was like, yeah, I guess that'd be pretty freaking weird.
Was it on purpose?
Yeah. I mean, sure.
Yeah.
Because, like, don't I want someone who looks like me? Because,
Right.
like, he looks like me.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Absolutely.
So that was funny.
So if you wrote and produced your own TV series or movie, who would be the lead actor or actress?
Me.
You?
Mm-hmm. No one's playing me.
Fair.
Yeah. I mean, who could play me? What's her name? Kristen Schnall? I don't know. The people that I get compared to, like, looks-wise is, I used to have red hair. So when I did, it was Julianne Moore and Heather Graham.
Okay.
I mean, if Madonna was a better actor, but she doesn't look like me anymore. I don't know. I can't answer this question because I'm an actor. It's like too stressful.
All right. Well, if you could go on tour with anybody, who would it be?
Madonna. Yeah. Come on.
That. I knew you
Come
were going to
on.
say that.
Yeah. Or Jay-Z.
Yeah.
I mean,
I feel like Jay-Z is very influential in your
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I mean, I have a deep relationship with his catalog. He has a lot of music. I mean, it was a soundtrack. It's like the Beatles. The Beatles was the soundtrack of my mother's generation. Jay-Z is a significant part of the soundtrack of my generation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kind of like I would say Drake's discography would be for my generation.
Yeah.
At least for me personally.
Yeah.
Drake's so Drake started out as an actor and then he became a rapper.
Yeah.
You're both from Toronto.
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of a...
There's some synergy. He
Yeah.
actually came to my very first show.
Did he
that I
really?
in Toronto, yeah. Not on purpose. But he, the studio that he records at is above this club that used to be there. It's not there anymore, called Tattoo. And that's where I had my show. And he had a white Phantom, that car. It was parked outside for sure, but my friend worked the door and he said Drake came in before he went upstairs. He heard the show and popped his head in, and I don't know, he left. So he didn't, obviously.
That's awesome.
He wasn't
though.
like, I'm going to sign her.
Yeah.
But I listen to him a lot when I'm writing. Sort of like the way he listens to Tupac and doesn't sound anything like Tupac.
Yeah.
It's like there's a scent of my city in it. I understand the fusions and what's going on in the music that they're creating, particularly the early albums that are just like Toronto feeling. I mean, you've got Houston in there too, but growing up and going to the clubs, same clubs, I'm sure that, I think he talks about Fluid. I don't know if he's referencing the Fluid in Toronto, but that was like the main hip hop R&B spot. And Toronto is a special music place, like Philly. It's a music city, and a lot of like session musicians that tour with the big artists come out of Toronto. And there's not a ton of frontmen necessarily. There are, but not in the same way that there are in other cities. But it's more of like a community of musicians that create these fusions of sounds, because it's such a diverse city culturally. So I grew up listening to hip hop, soca, reggae, dance hall, house, hip house, jazz, like all of it meeting in these really interesting ways. You go to a club and the DJ would play all of these things. So
which makes sense why Drake's music is the way it is then too. He's obviously inspired by all of those genres.
Yeah, you can hear the house. You can hear, like, I know it's the same DJs. I've never heard DJs in any other city that are as consistently good as Toronto. Like, I love New York DJs, don't get me wrong, but there's a space in New York to be more specific in terms of your style or your genre of music. Toronto was just not quite big enough. You had to still play everything in the early days.
Yeah.
And then, so it all mixed together. And we're close to Detroit, and we're close to Chicago, and we're close to New York. So all of that was like feeding in to us. We weren't a city that was trying to distinguish itself like Detroit and Chicago have different styles of house music. New York, hip hop is different. Hip hop is different from city to city, and Toronto just was always like collecting information and creating. So I'm that artist also. I'm like collecting information and creating my own specificity out of it, but it's not like I'm trying to not be New York. I'm trying to not be West Coast. I'm trying to not be, so I think that I feel that in Drake as well.
Yeah. All right. So Toronto is big in the sports too. They have the Blue Jays. They have a hockey team and
Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a sports fan?
Well, I cheered football and basketball for many years. So I have a very good understanding of the games, and I love being at the games and participating in that. But I'm not like, I don't go to games to watch games. It's like, I don't know. It's like when you're not in it, it's not as fun,
I got you.
like being a cheerleader. So I don't follow sports teams necessarily, no. But back in the day, I was into the Bulls, and I've had my moments. I used to watch NCAA ball more than anything else in terms of basketball because I wanted to watch the cheerleaders, and I just enjoyed the games more than NBA games because I like watching them play defense and like actually fight for a basket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned cheering a lot. My cousin, she has 2 daughters, and they're very into competition cheering. They travel all over the country for these competitions.
Are they in Jersey?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay.
They go to Jersey a lot for some competitions.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for them?
Oh, man. Use your legs. Catch high. Do not, oh my God. So many things. Use your legs and catch high. Because listen, your body is important, and you push yourself really, really hard in that sport. It's extremely difficult on your body, extremely hard on your body. My back still hurts. My neck still hurts, So it's just important that when you're catching, if you're a bass or a flyer, because flyers have to catch all the time too. And when I say catching, I mean a body falling into your arms, that your body is engaged and that you're using your core and absorbing the catch through your legs, because otherwise you're getting this like impact constantly on your spine and your joints and your hips and your knees that like you can't fix later. So you have these muscles that you build through conditioning that help you be able to absorb that impact, but you have to engage in the act of otherwise.
So take care of your body.
Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this podcast is mainly music based, but we also touch on like mental health and stuff like that. And I just want to, everything you're going through in life and as you've been through, I want to ask you where you're at right now. Like, are you happy?
Well, I guess since it's taking me long to answer, I guess I can't say yes, I'm 100% happy. I think, and I don't want to say happiness is a choice, because I think that I am okay with having a very robust emotional life. If that means that I'm happy, sad, angry, tired, fearful, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm not uncomfortable with the other emotions. I think that when you're always trying to be happy or being mad at yourself for not being happy that makes it worse.
Yeah, beating yourself up.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have a million emotions. When you look at your daughter, you know, she goes through a roller coaster of emotions in a day. And so do we. But we just don't let ourselves.
Yeah.
We think, oh, I need to meditate, or I have to get into this headspace of positivity, you know. Cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't live in the drama. I think that when we're creative beings and we want to create. We want to take these experiences that we have that create this emotional life in us and put them into something. But we don't put them into anything, and they get stuck in our bodies. And so instead of creating something out of this emotional life we're experiencing, we create drama. We tell ourselves stories about what is wrong or what we need to fix or whatever, why we have a million reasons to be mad.
Yeah.
And then there's no space for happiness because I just have mind chatter. So in my day-to-day life, I try to stay in the moment as much as possible. And when I'm like aggro, be like, why?
Right.
Why am I aggro? Why am I not having fun? Whoa, because I'm thinking about the future. I'm thinking about the show tonight. I'm worried about breath control, or like, am I going to fuck it up or forget a thing or sound bad on this one particular song? You know, who cares? I care. Well, I care because I want to keep progressing as an artist. But at some point I've got to like come back to the moment and be like, okay, well, what can I do right now to help alleviate some of this, right? And that's the discipline around, you know, quote unquote happiness, is like being okay with observing yourself going through the thing and not getting tossed around by your own drama. It's going to come.
Yeah.
So how can I stay as present as possible and just be in the experience of sitting here with you, you know, seeing you in your awesome outfit.
Thank you.
And like learning about, you're welcome, learning about your son or your daughter. And I say son because I was thinking about you being my son's age and like how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
And, you know, you remind me of him in a way. So, you know, being present and allowing the universe to give me all the gifts it's trying to give me.
Absolutely.
For the most part, if I'm in the past and the future, I'm just blocking all that shit all day. So that's the discipline that helps me find happiness in any moment I choose to experience it.
Yeah. No, I think it's very important to feel all emotions in general. I feel like I've always been an emotional person, and it does help to feel those things, but you can't stay stuck in that feeling. Like, it's cool, it's okay to be sad, like it's 100% okay to be sad. Everyone gets sad, but you can't get stuck in that feeling. And like you said, everything is a roller coaster. You're gonna feel sad, you're gonna feel happy, and I think that's what a lot of people, there's this quote I've seen on TikTok a million times, and it's, I think happiness isn't happiness is letting go of what you thought your life was supposed to be and accepting and embracing where you are in life now. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's a very fun, dramatic game to have a big distance between your dream and where you are right now.
Yeah.
Part of what we do in the time trampoline is write down, like, what does a day look like for me? Or what does a day look like for someone I admire? So let's say the lesson is called, Why Am I Not Beyonce? So like, what is Beyonce's day like? What do I imagine? She gets up, has breakfast with her kids, maybe. She does a photo shoot. She has a creative session. She records at night or preps for the like whatever my imaginary day of Beyonce's. Does she walk her dog? Does she call her mom? I don't know, but it's like fun to like think about those things. And then I'm like, well, how do I make my day look like this? It's actually not that far away. What I'm fixating on when I'm thinking about Beyonce is like the Instagram photo, the fame, the paparazzi, the money, the
highlight reel.
That's not what her life is.
Right.
Her life is her day when she gets up to the end of the day. How do I have a day where I'm experiencing all of these things I want to experience? I am God experiencing itself. That's what I believe. I am God in a body having a human experience sensorially. What do I want to experience sensorially today? I want to be here with you. I want to experience the colors around me because it's so enriching to my creative soul. I want to capture some content that I'm going to really love to share that feels like art to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and hang out with Summer, have some lunch, rehearse a little bit.
Where are you guys going for lunch?
I don't know. But I'm going to put sparkly pants on after.
Nice.
I know that. And fun shoes. Sparkly
So
lipstick.
you did decide on an outfit for the show.
Sparkly pants.
Nice.
Sparkly lipstick. And I'm going to enjoy each one of my songs tonight. Like as I'm thinking about the show, because I have a tendency when I get out in front of an audience to get extremely hyper. And you've seen my songs. Like I have to breathe. There has to be breath involved.
Yeah, you don't think there is, but she's got to breathe.
There's a lot of breathing.
Yeah.
So my biggest concern is like, can I get through an hour of material without losing my breath? Well, it's my fucking show. If I want to stop and
Take a
chill,
break.
I can.
Yeah.
I can, like, whatever. Also, if I don't say every word, no one's going to know because, like, most people haven't heard all of my original material. So just going through it one thing at a time, thinking about my day, this is an athlete practice as well. When you visualize your performance or your competition or whatever before you go on, it's very powerful. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagining a thing and doing it. So it's a form of practice that's very, very powerful that you can control the outcome of what it looks like.
Yeah.
So I will do that as well. And then I'm living my dream. When I'm having the day of my dreams, like the day that Beyonce has, I'm living it. I'm doing photo shoots. I'm doing podcasts.
Yeah.
I love interviews so much. I love talking shit. And then I get to go be on stage.
Yeah.
And like, why am I acting like a stress case and like being a diva and worrying about my fucking hair? Like, stop. You're in your dream. Look at it. Be here.
Be present.
Yeah.
Be where your feet are.
Yes. My mom says be in your shoes and eyeballs.
I love that. Yeah. When I have panic attacks, sometimes I have to remember you got to be where your feet are. Just be present. Look around.
There's this cool thing you can do, a butterfly hug when you're having a panic attack.
Yeah.
You tap either side and it helps you get back your brain pathways back and forth.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, Mandy, you're a ball of energy when you perform and you do these videos. Where does that come from?
A few places. Firstly, I know that I could like maybe be dead tomorrow, so there's that component, right?
There is that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then there's also just like, I think not drinking, like eating pretty healthy. And then thirdly, there's this product that I've been using called the Mind Expander, and it is an inhaler that delivers ATP directly to the mitochondria of your brain. And a lot of people have been researching ATP. It's the substance that all of our cells need to exist. It's where our energy comes from. Our body uses our body weight in ATP in a day. Like that's how much energy we need. That's why we have to eat so much, sleep so much. That's where we're getting energy from. So this product is enhancing that. Most of us don't have enough of it. And it's like a natural form of energy like we would get from an energy drink or caffeine that doesn't have any drugs in it, that's helping me to stay focused, to be in flow. Like I'm tired, I've done a couple interviews. I flew in yesterday. I only had a couple hours sleep. Last night I slept on definitely the most uncomfortable mattress I've ever, like so lumpy. It's a pull-out couch situation.
It's not.
Yeah, it's not
fun.
good. It makes me, I want to cry thinking about how uncomfortable it was.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And I'm like a 9-hour sleep girl, so I'm really tired. But I don't feel, my brain doesn't feel tired. So I can feel it in my body. I can feel it a bit in my face, but my brain doesn't feel tired because I've been able to use this inhaler. So I partnered with these guys, and the inhaler is coming on the market tomorrow, next couple of days.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the company's called Nanogenesis Labs, and they also have drops, and the drops are like crazy in terms of their ability to reduce inflammation. So it's been helpful for a lot of people with arthritis. Any sort of inflammation is the cause of most disease. So, or a symptom of many diseases. So it's very powerful also for athletes, high level athletes, for recovery time. Like I've got torn meniscus and all kinds of cheerleading injuries. So it's helping me with that.
Nice.
But yeah, so all that info's in my bio if people are interested in checking it out.
Use the code Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Yep.
What's up?
All right, Mandy, this last segment is called a shameless plug. We're going to have you talk into this camera right here, and I want you to basically just plug anything you want to tell people that you have coming out soon, your handles, your name, everything. Just let them know.
Brilliant. Well, y'all, I don't say y'all because I'm not from the South, but it sounds cool. So hi, y'all. I'm Mandy Mayhem. I am on Instagram at Manda Merhead. I'm on TikTok at Ms. Mandy May Cheatham. Don't ask me why I have two different names. It's a long story. And you can find me on YouTube at Manda Merhead as well. I'm live on TikTok many, many nights a week. Too many for my own health, probably. Tonight, I'm at Kung Fu Necktie in Philly. And opening for me is a legendary Keith Shockley from Public Enemy. I mean, come on.
Awesome.
I'm hoping to be on tour in the fall, fingers crossed, with a very prominent rap artist, but we won't talk about that yet until it's a real reality. And other than that, just connect with me on social media. That's where I live now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And she is a beautiful soul, I will say that.
Thank you.
Yes. This was a pleasure, and I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you have a show tonight.
Yes.
Remember, just enjoy it, be present, and kill it.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have to say. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here.
I loved it.